Family goes out to greet their guests, and we meet the royal prince and princess, Laius and Marianne. Haru wonders if they are his real siblings, but Laius is stuck up and super rude. Marianne tells him to behave, but Laius says she can't boss him around since he's going to be the next king, so they aren't on the same level. Haru can't believe he is so terrible, but Laius calls him out for staring at him. He knows Haru is only level 2, so he decides to teach him a lesson, challenging him to a fight. Haru thinks it's going to be a pain, but Laius thinks he is afraid, saying he will hold back. Haru checks his level, seeing he is level 9 with a maximum of 40, and he compares it with his father and the princess. Laius charges at him, but he easily dodges him. Laius tells him not to run away, so Haru uses his barrier to protect himself. He lets the prince beat him up, but he instantly attacks him from behind. Laius gets back up, but Haru just keeps knocking him down. Marianne doesn't believe he is only level 2, but Haru's father just calls it a mystery. Laius refuses to lose, attacking with a fireball, but Haru just absorbs it with his barrier. The prince keeps on attacking, but his spells have no effect. He wonders what's going on, and Haru reveals that he absorbed all the fireballs, wondering if he should return them, and Laius falls to his knees. Haru lets him off the hook, and he is just glad it's over. Marianne apologizes for her brother, and she wonders if he is really level 2. Haru confirms that he is, but he quickly excuses himself. As he heads back to his room, he wonders if this incident will cause his real parents to come looking for him. But then we see Charlotte as she helps Haru look for bad guys to take down. Flay returns, and she also wants to help out, but Haru thinks she will end up causing trouble. He asks her about his other tasks for her, but she claims to have finished everything. Charlotte gets excited, wanting to see them team up, saying that every hero needs a partner. Seeing how excited they are, Haru has no choice but to go along with it. He warns Flay that since Charlotte is watching them, she isn't allowed to use excessive violence. We see a group of thieves as they prepare to check out their haul, but Haru makes his entrance, introducing himself as the Black Knight, and Flay follows suit, calling herself the Crimson Knight. The men are confused, and Flay attacks with her flame, setting them on fire. Haru tries to remind her of his warning, but she doesn't listen and continues to throw fire, so he ends up stopping it with his barrier. Flay is confused by what's going on, and she prepares to use her full power, but Haru suddenly smacks her, reminding her not to be so violent. She says she got carried away, but she tries to burn them again, and he smacks her again, telling her to head back while he handles the rest. Haru becomes exhausted afterwards, but Charlotte says they were awesome. Meanwhile, we see Laius as he wonders how Haru defeated him when he's only level 2. We learn he was trying to assert dominance as the next king, but it didn't turn out the way he expected. His aide tells him to get ready for the banquet, and he suggests Laius to invite Charlotte to join him on their tour of the fields the next day. Laius doesn't care about her, but his aide tells him it's for his own good. Charlotte visits Haru after the banquet, and we learn he sent his clone to take his place. His clone reminds him that they are the same, so he found the experience just as miserable. His clone can't handle being his double, and it jumps into bed. Charlotte worries for the clone, thinking it will have to go on the tour, but she knows she will also be going since Laius invited her. Looking at how tired his clone is, Haru decides to want to go. Later at night, Haru decides to check the route for their tour to make sure that it's safe for Charlotte. He finds a suspicious group that looks like they are summoning something, so he decides to go check it out. He rocks up to them, wondering what's going on, but the men are shocked to see him. They prepare their spells against him, but he easily takes them all out. One of the men activates the magic circle, summoning a bunch of skeletons. Haru finds them creepy, but he easily takes them down with his sword. However, they get right back up, jumping onto him, but he easily blows them all away. They keep getting back up, but he notices a crystal on their chest. As the man orders them to attack, the skeletons suddenly turn around, and they start attacking the men instead. The leader summons a huge golem, crushing the skeletons, and it even manages to break through Haru's barrier. He wonders how, but he notices it also has a crystal on its chest, so he ends up attacking it, causing the golem to stop moving. The men wonder what's going on, but it also turns on them, and Haru apologizes, saying he stabbed it with his barrier, which overrode its magic formula. Haru ends up capturing them all, and he tries to ask the leader about their objective. The man refuses to talk, so Haru gets the skeletons to dig a hole, and he threatens to bury all of them alive. The leader reveals he works for the queen consort, saying they were trying to summon monsters to assassinate Charlotte during the tour. The golem starts to go wild, grabbing onto the man, but Haru stops it just in time. He refuses to lose the people he loves, and decides to go against the queen, even if she's his real mother. His father reveals he got a letter from the Black Knight when he was delivered the queen's mages, so he knows the threat is real. He knows she sees him as her enemy, but he can't retaliate since she's the queen. Haru wishes she would disappear, but his father tells him the capital would fall into turmoil without her. He explains that the king fell from power long ago, and there are many nobles that try to take the throne, but the queen keeps them all in check with her power. 2 years before Haru was born, the king led an army against the Demon King with the Queen Gisela among them, and she took out the Demon King by herself. She became a hero, and her marriage with the king was supported by everyone. But she's now trying to take the kingdom for herself. His father thinks there's nothing they can do unless someone more powerful could replace the queen. He thinks Charlotte will easily become stronger than her, but she's still too young, so he tells Haru to look out for her until she grows up. FLE volunteers to take out the queen, but Haru declines, saying it's a personal issue, so he wants to be the one to do it. He thinks the queen will make another attempt on Charlotte's life soon, so he decides it's time they had a reunion. His mother Gisela receives a report about the failed attempt on Charlotte's life, learning that the Black Knight is protecting her. She throws her drink at them, calling them useless, and she thinks she will need to handle it herself. But at that moment, Haru arrives, instantly taking out her men with his barriers. Gisela wonders how he made it into her castle, which should be protected by barriers, but Haru calls them weak, saying he just broke through them. Gisela prepares to deal with him, and Haru is surprised she can use 3 spells in a row. He gets trapped in a sphere of water, starting to Gisela follows up with ice magic, which Haru is able to defend against, so she then blasts him with her fire magic. Haru drops to the ground, and Gisela starts to gloat, saying he was no challenge, but Haru just gets back up, brushing off the attack, and Gisela wonders who he is. Haru starts to retaliate, attacking with a barrage, and Gisela struggles to defend herself. She thinks he is even stronger than the Demon King, and she starts to run out of mana, but she charges at him with her sword, and Haru fights using his own sword. Gisela gets on top of him, thinking she is unrivaled with the sword, but Haru ends up disarming her. He prepares to punish her, creating a collar around her neck, and he tells her she will lose her head if she tries to take it off. She wonders what he wants, and Haru tells her he has one demand, telling her to keep her hands off Charlotte and his family, warning her what will happen if she disobeys. 5 years later, things have remained peaceful, and we see Charlotte playing out in the snow. His father mentions how the queen hasn't appeared in public over the last few years, but he is glad there have been no more attempts on Charlotte's life. He has heard rumors that the queen wears a slave collar now, so he wonders if that has something to do with it. Haru is just glad everything is peaceful, and he thinks he can finally have a relaxing life as a shut-in, but his father suddenly mentions he will need to start going to school in the capital. Haru is shocked hearing this, and his father says he tried to refuse, but it was beyond his control. Haru instantly refuses, remembering how bad school was in his past life, and he becomes determined to find a way to get out of it. We see them discussing it further back at the house. His father reveals it was a direct recommendation from the king. Haru wonders why he would do such a thing, and his father thinks he must have made an impression on Princess Marianne when she came to visit them. His father thinks it would also be a good opportunity for him to meet people and see more of the outside world. Haru doesn't want to cause trouble for him, so he agrees to go. His father mentions he should bring an attendant since he is going to the capital, but he says he can't take place since she would end up causing trouble, and his mother suddenly appears, volunteering to go with him. But Haru refuses, saying nobody would be bringing their mother with them, and his father tells him he has 3 months to find someone. As Haru heads back to his room, he thinks of a way to get out of going. He explains the situation to his clone, but the clone also refuses, saying he also wants to be a shut-in. So Haru explains his plan, wanting his clone to get expelled from the academy for lack of ability, since it can't use any magic and that way it won't cause any trouble for his father. His clone thinks he could do it himself, but Haru claims he might accidentally use his barrier magic if he is getting picked on. His clone doesn't want to get beaten up, so Haru promises to use his barrier on him to protect him, and his clone reluctantly agrees to the plan. We learn that over the last 5 years, Haru built a cabin somewhere far away, where he can be a shut-in but Charlotte still comes to visit, so she can watch her favorite animes. She gets depressed wanting to watch more, because she can only visit with Flays since he is so far away. But Haru mentions he could use teleportation magic to help her. He shows it off, passing a ball to her through his barrier, and they are amazed that it works, but he notes he hasn't tested it on a living creature. Flay suggests trying it out with his clone, so he opens up a door to his room. He tells his clone to come through, but his clone knows what's up, refusing to risk his own life. He taunts Haru to try it himself, but Flays gets annoyed, and she jumps right through, grabbing the clone. And she throws him through. But after this test, they confirm that it works, so Haru installs a door for Charlotte to come and visit, but his clone heads back. Haruto says, "I'll go out for a while." It was still 3 months before Haruto went to the academy. Haruto was walking alone in the jungle. Then he gets to see a village where we often see skeleton monsters, and they were living together. Then Haruto remembers that the last time Haruto taught the skeleton a lesson after that incident, the skeleton actually started listening to Haruto and they started working under Haruto. Haruto, as he comes to the village, the skeleton monster's leader welcomes Haruto, and along with that, the other skeleton monsters. Also, the skeleton monster's leader says, "Master, we are very happy that you have come to visit us. My name is Johnny. If you need anything, do tell me." Haruto was exploring the village with the skeleton monster's leader here. The skeleton monster's leader Johnny also says that Flay has given some demons like himself a place to live here. Here we also get to see a lot of demi-humans along with the skeleton monster. As Haruto moves forward, he sees that the skeleton monsters are farming here. Haruto is very surprised to see their crop. Haruto did not believe that some skeleton monsters have done such a great job. The skeleton monster's leader tells Haruto about his village, and after hearing all this, Haruto gets very upset. Haruto thinks about the demon. He talks a lot after seeing Haruto. After Haruto goes to his new house, and Haruto was still thinking about whom to choose as his attendant. As Haruto comes home, Flay follows him. Flay says, "Master, you talked about some attendant," but Haruto says to follow Flay. "You don't have to worry about it after this." Haruto goes to play the game, but on the other hand, Flay starts crying a lot because we are taken to a dragon and some people were attacking that dragon, and the dragon was also very angry. After this, we also get this news. Haruto gets to know that the blue dragon is very close to the national border and it has been seen coming towards the empire. Haruto's father says, "I want Flay to investigate it," but Flay says, "I will not go. I will only listen to Master Haruto's order." But Haruto says, then Char says, "Flay, aren't you going to save that dragon? I heard that she is very coward. I think she must be very scared." Then Haruto says, "Here is Char's request." "That is my request." Then Flay also gets very excited. Flay says, "If this is your command, Master, then I will eliminate all those adventurers." But Haruto says, "We're not going to do all that." Then Haruto starts to search for that blue dragon with his surveillance magic, and finally he finds the blue dragon, but the group of adventurers were after that blue dragon. After this, they both go to the blue dragon, but before that, the group of adventurers find the blue dragon and start attacking the blue dragon again. But then Haruto and Flay come to save the blue dragon, and Haruto uses his magic to stop the group of adventurers and also uses his barrier magic to heal the blue dragon. On the other hand, then Haruto says to the blue dragon, "It feels good to meet you. My name is Black Warrior." The blue dragon notices that he is completely healed. Then the blue dragon uses his ice magic on Haruto, and Haruto is completely healed, but he easily breaks the ice and goes out. Haruto gets very angry with this behavior of the blue dragon. Haruto says, "If you do this again, I will make your wound like before." Then the blue dragon says, "Why did you help me?" Then the blue dragon ignores Haruto and says to Flay, "You are a demon, right? Then why is a demon listening to a human?" Then Flay tells the story of meeting the blue dragon. He also tells the blue dragon that Haruto is the reincarnation of the demon king. Then the blue dragon says, "Forgive me, demon lord, I was unsuccessful in fighting you, but I had a problem with the demons." Haruto asks, "What were you doing for so long?" The blue dragon says, "I was spending my time on a mountain for 300 years. Then Flay says, "Okay, do you want to come with us?" The blue dragon says, "I am very happy after getting the knowledge. I got to know about emotions. I always wanted to connect with people like you. I have not thanked you too yet to save me. I am the blizzard dragon. From today, I consider you my master." Then the blue dragon takes his human form. Haruto immediately gives the blue dragon a mate's dress so that he can't see his bare skin. After this, Haruto also introduces himself. Haruto says, "My name is Haruto Janefies. I am the son of the lord of this territory, but what is your name?" The blue dragon says, "I don't have a name, but I want you to give me a name." After this, Haruto says, "From today your name is Lisa." With this name, the blue dragon gets very happy. When Haruto and Lisa were greeting each other, Flay comes in between. Flay says, "Hey Lisa, I want to tell you one thing. I will serve Master Haruto, so that means you are number 2. Do you understand what I want to say?" After this, the three of them start heading home. Haruto is surprised to see Lisa in human form. Using his dragon way after this, the three of them race to go home.